We all know this should have never happened. We do. Deep down, you do. And if you're out here saying Shedor's a bum, he's not good, you either haven't watched tape or you're willingly being ignorant. He can play. Is he a prospect like Andrew Luck, Caleb Williams, Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence? Like, is he that type of prospect coming into it? No, he's not that. Not no Mahomes. But we know he should have been drafted in the first round. I will say it again. I knew it wasn't about football. It wasn't about what was on tape. It wasn't about the production on the field when Shedeur Sanders slipped the first round. That's when I knew. Now, after that, you still had apologists saying, well, it's about the tape. Well, it's about the production on the field. I'm telling you, you have too many teams that desperately need a quarterback to look at your depth chart and say, nah, I'd rather take a 25-year-old coming out of Louisville whose career completion percentage in his final year was 62%. Shedeur Sanders, for his entire career in college football, his completion percentage is 69%. So one guy, his career best is 62% in Tyler Shough. And another guy in Shedeur Sanders, his career average is 69%. Now, his career best is 74%. Led college football with no run game and a subpar offensive line. Given all of those measurables, breaking Colorado's records left and right, passing yards, passing touchdowns, resurrecting a program that before him had won one game year prior. One game. It's no reason why he should have fell to the fifth round. But what's the elephant in the room? And before I say this, it's Real Talk with Miles Johnson. And I encourage you, if you have a platform, whether it's big or small, it's humongous, that you speak truth to power. Because you cannot willingly be ignorant. You cannot willingly act like these things aren't happening in our face and not call them out. What they did to Shedeur Sanders was to prove an example that you're not above anybody. And it's the difference between the NFL and the NBA. If you want to know what the difference is between the NFL and the NBA, look at how they viewed Lonzo Ball in the NBA and how the NFL viewed Shedeur Sanders. Come on. LeVar Ball, with less pedigree than Deion Sanders, way less pedigree than Deion Sanders, got his son Lonzo Ball to be drafted second overall because he was a fantastic salesman in saying, Cali kid, to the Lakers, Magic. He's a pass-first guy just like Magic. It's perfect. And the NBA and the Lakers bought into that. He literally sold them a dream. A couple months after De'Aaron Fox in the Sweet 16 bust Lonzo ass. LeVar cannot do what he did in the NBA in the NFL. He couldn't do that. And so when you have Deion Sanders, a black man, saying, we're not going here, We're not going there. Making tweets, supporting his son, being out there just like LeVar Ball was. The NFL says, nah, we're not about to be doing this stuff. Because with the NFL, their mindset is you have to prove your value on the football field in the NFL for us to really bend the knee. And this whole notion that, well, these NFL GMs, they know what they're doing. No, the hell they don't. The same GMs that looked at Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold and said, we would rather have them than Lamar Jackson, a Heisman Trophy winner. And so when I'm talking about certain type of quarterbacks, certain type of players that fall in the draft, especially at the quarterback position, I'm seeing a trend. Now, this was egregious for many, many reasons. But it was egregious also because we knew these teams didn't believe in the picks that they were picking. Like, I'll say this, bruh. If you are a Steelers fan, and especially if you are a Saints fan, you have all right to pick whatever NFL team you want to support next. Because if I was a Saints fan and I saw Kellen Moore get on the phone with a 25-year-old from Louisville, no disrespect, but come on. If I saw that as a fan, I would just put my hands up and say, we're not really trying to win. Like, the beauty about sports is that when people play, race don't matter. You can play soccer with somebody in the Netherlands, in Belgium, in Africa, in Japan. You can play baseball with whoever. Basketball, football, it don't matter. Sports is one of the first types of communications that have brought people together. But the business side of sports has racial undertones all over it. All over it. It's why most of the owners in these leagues are white. And the players doing the work for them are black. So to say that it's not about race, when it's clearly an attempt to limit the power of the Sanders family and to humble them, and it's collusion by the league, we have to call it out. The reason why the Browns drafted Dillon Gabriel first before Shedeur Sanders is because I don't think they planned on drafting Shedeur. I think their head coach wanted to. I think their general manager wanted to. But I'm not certain the Cleveland Browns owner really wanted to. I'm not sure. And then after the Gabriel pick, and potentially they saw the outcry from their fan base, they said, no, we gotta draft the better guy. And then come the fifth round, he was still available, and they traded up for him. But you have a quarterback room of Deshaun Watson, Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, Dillon Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders. So the NFL and these owners, to prove a point, would waste a third-round pick on Dillon Gabriel. Waste that pick. Somebody that you could have used that third-round pick for somebody on offense, another receiver, another offensive lineman. We know Deshaun Watson's bad, but that O-line didn't do him any favors. Instead of doing that, you pick Dylan Gabriel, probably thinking that, oh, yeah, we're probably not going to draft Shedeur. He's still on the board. The owner gives you the green light, and you do what you want to do from the beginning. Now, while that whole thing is messed up, I'll say this. The Browns essentially got Shedeur Sanders in a really good spot. Because a month ago, the consensus was Shedeur is going top 3. He's going top 5. Like, in the beginning, it was Cam Ward 1 or Shedeur 1. Or they were 1A, 1B. Going to the Titans or the Browns. Now the Browns got a first-round pick. They traded down. They got 2 second-round picks. And they're able to not only get Shedeur Sanders, but they got other pieces that will help him be great. So now he's going to a team that when he wins this quarterback battle, they're going to be nice. They're going to be nice. And Steelers fans, Steelers Nation, telling y'all this. You better pray when Shedeur Sanders plays y'all. Talking to Mike Tomlin, I'm talking to the Steelers. Because he's going to light y'all up. And it's going to get bad. It's going to get bad. Because you essentially made somebody turn into an underdog. That's where you messed up. When the roles flip for a player and he goes from the hunted to the hunter, that's where you messed up. Jalen Hurts went from being hunted to then being the hunter. He was the guy that, on the scene at Alabama, freshman of the year, doing his thing, gets humbled, and he uses that to fuel the fire for him to be great. So it's no coincidence that Shedeur Sanders admires Jalen Hurts, because they really embody some similar characteristics. They are fueled. They are fueled by the naysayers, whether they want to say it or not, or whether they internalize it and motivate themselves to go ahead and be better. That's what they do. But do I agree with the premise that quarterbacks every year drop and they slide? Yes. But we have not seen a consensus top 3, top 5 pick at worst go from being top 3 to then the 5th round, and he has no legal troubles, was good in school, nothing off the field in terms of something legal, any fights, nothing like that. And so for some of y'all that's saying, well, it's the character, have you met him? Have you talked to him? Have you talked to him? Have you spoken a word to him? Oh, okay. I'm trying to figure out just like what it is. Like, what really is it? What really is it? But we know what it is. So we're going to talk about it more. It's my birthday, but I wanted to get something out for y'all. But instant reaction to Shedeur Sanders getting drafted by the Cleveland Browns. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. We're talking about Johnson, where y'all know I always keep it real. I'm out, y'all.